Hello all, you're welcome to this week's Tech Tuesdays webinar on Introduction to Cloud Data Marketplace. I'm Brinda, your host for today's session. Today we have with us Avanish Srivastava and Srinivasa Gopal, who have more than 15 years of experience in data governance and privacy, data quality, and data management as presenters for the session. Before we start the session, let's go through some housekeeping tips. The duration of the webinar is 1 hour. That includes a 15 minutes Q&A. You can post your queries in the Q&A box. Dial-in participants are muted for the entire session. The session is being recorded and will be available in the Informatica Support YouTube channel and the Success portal. You'll be able to download the slide deck from the Success portal. Please feel free to put in your feedbacks and suggestions for the session in the post-webinar survey. The Tech Tuesdays webinars are hosted within the Success portal, which is a micro-learning platform that offers free and unlimited learning to all registered users. This feature-rich platform was launched to help you learn and use Informatica products better. Here you can see some important links that you can go over later that will help you in your product adoption journey with Informatica. Over to you, Avanish and Srini. Thank you.
Thanks, Vrinda. Hi, everyone. This is Avnish Srivastava. I'm a principal technologist with Informatica's customer success team, and I specialize in our data governance, privacy, and on cloud products. Today, I'm joined by my colleague Srinivas Gopal as well, who is going to dive deep into the product demo once we are done with the slides today to cover the content. But let's start with the slides first. So here's the agenda we have for our today's session. We'll start with the introduction to Cloud Data Marketplace and maybe why we need it and what is Cloud Data Marketplace. And then we'll switch into the core concepts or the building blocks of our Cloud Marketplace solutions, the terms which you need to be aware of and how we use it all to put this experience together. And after that, we'll go into the creation of the marketplace, like what should be a quick, high-level process to create a marketplace for your organization. And then we'll talk about the experience of a consumer, like how someone will, browse through the tool, what one should expect when he logs into the Cloud Data Marketplace UI. And after that, we'll have a deep dive demo where, we will go from different perspectives, like different journeys, like how someone would search or someone would browse. And all of that is going to be done by my colleague, as I mentioned. And then we'll have some more Q&A towards the end of the session, but feel free to keep, typing in your questions during the session as well, and we'll try our best to respond them. So with that, yeah, let me just get to our introduction phase, as I mentioned. So let me switch to next slide, introduction to Cloud Data Marketplace. And to start things with, Cloud Data Marketplace is a new service added into our Intelligent Data Management Cloud. As you can see here on the screen, there have been quite a few services and solutions existing on this platform. And we have recently added a few where data governance and catalog and data marketplace are those additions. And today we will talk about the data marketplace service of our Intelligent Data Management Cloud. So this is, of course, going to provide you an integrated experience with your other Informatica cloud components. You could use the same users roles which you already have. You don't have to bring in new users into a new tool and all. I mean, of course, there'll be new users, but it's all going to be centrally managed with your Informatica Cloud Administrator portal. So we'll talk more about that in our upcoming slides. Let's talk about, in general, what is Cloud Data Marketplace. So a Cloud Data Marketplace is a cloud-native merchandising experience, for consumers who are out to shop for data for their projects or their analysis or their project requirements. It comes with ways to package the data in meaningful ways, put information around the data, like what it contains, and what category does it fall under? What are the terms of use to be aware of before you take this data? And of course, I mean, comes with an order management process, because once you have understood the data, you may want to go ahead and ask permissions. So clearly, it comes with built-in roles where people can play as stakeholders, can define the delivery format or delivery methodology. And once you put the request in, it's going to come with the order management process. We'll show you that, okay, this is your order. It's in the approval state, or for some reason, if it is rejected, then why it is rejected. And you can track all your user requests and others from past as well. Another thing which it comes with, which is important to note, is that it's kind of over time, when you use it more, or maybe you already have some sort of data marketplace in a legacy tool, um, you will grow the community of users, and with that consumers detail, you can always know that, okay, who all uses a certain set of data, and that might tell you that, okay, whether it is good enough, whether it is going to be good for you or not. Like, if people who have the same role as you, or who are your team members, if they are using a data set for their day-to-day job, that kind of tells you that, yeah, you can also request that data set, and it should serve your purpose as well. So, like I said, I mean, yeah, with time, when you use it more, or when you curate it more, it becomes more and more relevant for your requirements. So, let's again, just look at the three key highlights of cloud data marketplace. Here are some screens on our slide here. It shows you the UI of the cloud data marketplace. You'll see a lot more of it in the demo. But as you can see, right, I mean, it's a very not overly complicated UI. It has categories, it has collections, the way you have packaged things. It has terms of use. So the first thing always comes that, okay, you have to package your data assets in a meaningful way so that people can make sense out of it when they look at it. Then a shop and checkout kind of experience, which is where the stakeholders will play a role to approve the request and everything. And then fulfill and track. So that's where the technical owners will work on the data fulfillment based on the supported delivery options for the data, and track your request as well, so that you can know that, okay, when did I request it, where is it right now. So these are the three key highlights, but we'll talk a bit more about those things in upcoming slides. But yeah, that was a brief introduction. Now let's talk about why marketplace, and it is also known as data democratization, because what we are doing here is basically bringing in data from all parts of organization, putting it to a place, giving information about the data, giving policies on how to use the data to the general audience, right? So it's kind of the data democratization, as we just mentioned, right? So, but then, yeah, why is it all the more relevant in today's scenario, or maybe last few years, if I may say? So, with the growing ways to visualize data, access data, the tools like Tableau, Power BI, and everybody is having access to data, right? I mean, they can look at the data. They are driving their day-to-day job with the decision they make on basis of the data. But then that only shows them high-level analytics, or I would say KPIs on data. But if somebody wants to like really be aware of the kind of data, something, maybe let's say that they want to take the next step, right? They want to go a step further, get access to the data, do their own analysis on that data to come up with some new ways to improve the business. That's where people are not there, because of course the business users have grown in numbers, but the data literacy is not as high as someone from a data engineer or a ETL developer or a scientist, data scientist community will have, because they work on those things. They write codes. They read the low level requirement. They know what are the transformations and everything. But when it comes to a business user, the data literacy has always been a challenge, and to make that information available has become a challenge. So this is where this new self-service model, or this cloud data marketplace, comes handy, becomes all the more relevant because making data available, like maybe is of course a challenge. That how somebody will get the data. But before that, the bigger challenge is to know that what kind of data you need. Can you really use that data? Does it fall under those categories? Does the regulations and policies allow you to, work on a marketing campaign for a data set which belongs to a specific set of customers? I'm just giving an example. So so with all of that, I think cloud data marketplace allows you to package data in a way that this initial 60-70% of hurdle where technical people used to talk to business people about the data they need, then there are back and forth meetings, and then finally they make the data available, and they might even say that, okay, you know what, we have this data already, but yeah, we just wanted to make sure that is this really what you needed. So to bridge that, communication gap between the two personas or between the two words, this self-service model will be very useful. So now let's jump to the key features of our cloud data marketplace solutions and the things which makes it unique. So if you look at the data asset diversity perspective, cloud data marketplace offers a lot more than the general on-prem solutions where you can bring data from different cloud systems or on-prem systems and hybrid cloud ecosystems, and you can just document and package them all together based on the category and data collections they belong to. Um, you can always put links which can take you to the actual data set within a different tool if it is part of, let's say, a Tableau report or an Axon data set or an EDC data set or a CDGC, which is our cloud data governance catalog data set, or it could be a data set or a file lying into some online storage or something. So this diversity, which spans across ecosystems within cloud or on-prem, that gives it an edge over, more dedicated systems for a specific solution. Seamless data shopping is definitely the value which we are trying to bring here with all the key building blocks of our cloud marketplace solution. So when you are packaging information like data sets, you are putting in the terms of use, define the usage context for the data, defining the delivery targets and those things. So when somebody is searching for data set, when they look at all these different aspects of that data set, that allows them to be more confident while putting in a request for a data set. Apart from that, the existing access of the data set, the people who access it today, the community who finds it useful and are using it daily, that also gives a lot more context to a person who's out for, shop for some new data sets. And the third one, the AI ML model merchandising. So that's a new thing which we have started in our cloud data marketplace, where not only the data set like tables, files, and reports, but AI ML models, along with their dependent data sets, can also be put into the storefront experience where people can come in, search for the model, see what it does, what are its KPIs, who owns it, and if they find it useful, if they want to tweak it for their own usage or just learn from it, they can go ahead, put in the request and get all the data, like the model as well as the data related to it for their own purpose. So that's the way how we can, bring in the ML and AI models into the mix too. Furthermore, transparent order processing. So yeah, once somebody has selected something, of course, the order processing becomes one of the key feature of this solution, where the owners can look at the data which is coming in, like the requests which are coming in, like who has requested data, what is the purpose of, what is the usage context, where somebody wants the data, and they can go ahead approve it, and then the technical owner can look at fulfilling it. So that thing is already orchestrated within the tool and allows the users to take a quick view of, like where their request is and who's approving and whatnot. Data delivery and provisioning. So this is where, the data engineers or more technical people can participate in the marketplace journey by defining the delivery options, right? And that allows people to choose, right, that how the data will be provisioned, what it will be the target, what is the format, and all those things. Multi-marketplace capability is another unique feature of cloud data marketplace solution. So if you are an IICS customer, you may be familiar with the concept of org, right? And you can have multiple sub-orgs within your parent org as well. Let's say you have different subsidiaries within your organization. So it's a very common thing to have production org, non-production org, sub-orgs. And if you want to publish your data marketplace to your subsidiaries through a different sub-org and make sure that the data relevant to a specific sub-org is only published there. Well, Cloud Data Marketplace does just that because you'll have, a marketplace for the sub-orgs or different orgs you have. Now, let's jump into the core concepts or what we call the building blocks of CDMP, the Cloud Data Marketplace, because these things will be handy. You'll see a lot of more of this during the demo, but it's important to understand them before we get into the demo. So first thing first is the category. Now this category is more of, I would say, a broader level grouping of data, a common theme, and we should try to create categories as exclusively as possible. So some examples are like customer, product, accounting, and finance. And under the categories, we will have data collection. Now, data collection is a data package, which can have, more than one data assets like store sales data or sales KPI reports within the sales data asset. And some example of data collections could be like sales data or maybe online sales data, or I would say sales data for data collection and online sales data, store sales data as data assets under it. So and data collection, yeah, I mean, this is something you can search for. So one thing to remember that when you log into the cloud data marketplace, you can either browse by the category and dive deeper into the data collections from within category and go down to the like details of data assets, or you can simply search for data collection. And in marketplace UI, you can search by data collection along with filters on terms of use. So if you are searching for customer data, but for an internal project where you just don't want to expose customers' PII information, so maybe I'll do a search for customer data with a terms of use type to be more permissive or more accessible, where the data is already anonymized through masking or some other means. So this data collection comes handy when you're searching for something along with the filter of terms of use. Now, data assets and data elements, as I mentioned, they exist within the data collection. Data asset examples are like APAC sales data or a specific customer churn report. And data elements are the attributes within a data asset. And all of this can be created through the bulk upload template, which you'll see in details in the demo. And I also have a slide about that because that comes very handy when you are creating the content in the catalog or in the data marketplace for the first time. Going further, let's talk about a few more concepts of CDMP. So terms of use is a very important thing to understand. This is part of the initial setup of your marketplace system. This provides the usage guidelines which a consumer must understand and accept while making the access request. And it is also available, as I just mentioned, as a filter when you're searching for data that, okay, I'm searching for data which I can use for a specific purpose, or maybe I'm searching for data which is restricted, but I know I'm not gonna use it for any, or not gonna expose it or share it with a third party. So those things, I mean, the definition of terms of use is very important. There are types of terms of use which you'll see in the demo, like as I mentioned, right, controllable, accessible, or restricted. Now, going further beyond terms of use, there's something called usage context as well, which you are providing when you are shopping for the data. So there is a predefined list of usage context, and you have to choose one of from the list when you are putting in the request for a new data collection. So like analytics or marketing, or you can define it, but yeah, someone has to choose from the list which is already there. So it kind of, it binds the data consumers more to the policies or the purpose for which the data should be used. Now, roles and users is another very key thing. I mean, it's, I guess, the one of the very first things to be set up when you're deploying the marketplace solution. There are marketplace users, which are generally consumers. There are technical administrators. There are technical data owners. There are data owners. There are category owners. And when you are normally, setting up a marketplace solution, you will create some groups of your own and divide the, their roles, define their roles accordingly. So it's very important to identify these personas because they will be the very, key folks who will make the program successful. Now, delivery option is another setup thing where you create the data delivery templates, like what would be the format of data, or how will it be delivered, and then you just combine those things and define the delivery templates. So again, I mean, if a user is searching for data, if he's about to put in a request, he will look at the delivery templates and will make sure that does it serves his purpose or not. So that's also another thing, which is part of the setup of marketplace, and this will evolve over time. You will add more and more delivery options or terms of use or usage context as the program grows. Now, one thing which I wanted to talk about is the bulk upload because that is very handy when you are setting up the marketplace solution. So bulk upload in Cloud Data Marketplace, for those of you who have used bulk upload in Axon already, it's a bit more intuitive, I would say. As you can see, when you're logged into the Data Marketplace UI, Cloud Data Marketplace, you will see this place where you'll see that these are all the templates available for you to download and populate. And once you upload, then there are four stages like, import, which means the data is moving from your system to cloud. And then relationships is where it's going to actually evaluate the content, will give you all the, feedbacks on whether it's right or not. And then it will create, and then you'll see a summary as well. You can download the summary too. So here is an example where I tried to, simply import a set of data collections. And as you can see, right, I mean, it's in the relationship phase. The second one is colored here, right, the relationship. And you can see that there are different filters of the records, like ready, the ones which are ready to be created, the ones which are having any error. And the cool thing about this UI is that it allows you to make edits, in this UI itself. Like if you see in the third record in my bulk upload here, the data owner's email seems to be wrong. So that's why you see a cross over there. I can correct it here. The fifth one is where I'm missing the description field. It's a mandatory field and I've not populated it. So that I can choose to populate and go forward. And when I choose to create it, then those records will be committed within Data Marketplace. And you can edit, create, and then download the ones which are created to just for your record purpose. You'll see more of it during the demo, so I'm not going to spend much time on that. But yeah, it's important to know about the bulk upload because that is the only way, apart from the UI, to create the content. Down the line, there will be APIs and developments will keep pouring in on this one. But so far, bulk upload is the way to go for creating the content. Cloud Data Marketplace rules, as I mentioned, this is important and it's going to be covered in the demo in details as well because Srinivas is going to pick up certain roles and show you how things are done. But consumers, as you can understand, it's going to be the person who is just out there looking for data, shop for data, get to know more about the content exists on the marketplace. Owners is where we have more categories, like there is a data collection technical owner, there's a data collection owner, and you can see that, yeah, I mean, these roles, they can edit properties of data collections according to their role. So like a technical owner is more likely to edit the things like adding assets or delivery targets and terms of use. He can, of course, every role can review and shop for data. Similarly, for data marketplace data collection owner, he will be more busy into, like editing the summary data, adding more assets to it. And he can, of course, approve the request coming in because he is the data collection owner. And when we go to admins, the data marketplace technical administrator, they can do a lot more things as the technical owner of data as well. But then the things which they have beyond that role is that they can create new terms of use in general at the start of the engagement, delivery templates and data sets, and data marketplace administrator, the fifth one from the right left, I mean, is the person who is more of your IICS org administrator, I would say, because he can configure application at IICS level. He can create roles, allocate permissions. So that would be a more, elevated persona in the user community. And as I mentioned, I mean, yeah, you can have all these roles or maybe a combination of these roles, but at least consumers, collection owner, collection technical owner, and a general administrator is what you need to begin with. Now, let's talk about what is needed to build a marketplace, right? I mean, from the scratch. There may be more things when you start doing that, but we have tried to cover it in a 6-step process, and this is what it is. So, when you are creating a marketplace, the first thing would be to, of course, enable the marketplace service in your IICS UI and bring in the initial admins like a marketplace admin who will be enabling those things, creating roles initially, a governance admin who will be more known to the data which is about to be published out there, the categories which are going to be created, and then there should be somebody sort of a technical admin as well who can create some delivery templates and define all those things. um, and then once you have onboarded the initial stakeholders with their required roles, then comes the step where you create the base contents in the environment, like creating the categories and the terms of use that I mentioned by the people who have been onboarded already, creating the data delivery templates, creating a few data collections, assets, and elements, and that will grow with time when more and more people will come in. But yeah, this is where we are, populating the content to some level, and setting up the ground rule, more importantly, the usage context and all those things. Uh, and then you will onboard more and more people. Like this is where the data owners and the technical data owners will be onboarded within the tool. So they'll be created as a user. I assume that if they're newer people, you may want to enable them. Like there may be some introduction videos or some documents which are created. They have to go through that, and once they have that, and they can log into the tool with the roles they are assigned, they will be ready to start doing the fourth step of the process, which is enriching the marketplace or populating the marketplace, like adding more like names and description to the data which is out there, and adding more on the detail side of delivery, and creating more content, right, with time. So that's when more and more people will come in as part of data owners and will populate the marketplace and curate it. And once we have got, and not to mention, this is the stage where, I mean, I guess both stage, second and the fourth, there will be content creation involved through bulk uploads and all those things. Um, then comes the step 5, which is preparation for the launch. So for that, I mean, I think one key thing for preparation for any such thing is to make sure that we have got a few, like some documents, some enablement content for the data consumers who will be onboarded when we have launched things. And another thing is to onboard the data consumers which are out there, because people may already be using the data, but not just through this tool. And if that information is somewhere, marketplace allows you to bulk create the data consumer details within the tool. So when somebody searches for the data, they can see who all are consuming this data today, and that gives them a better context to search for the data and shop for the data. So that's our step 5, preparing for the launch, populate already existing user community. And the step 6 is launching marketplace. And I think that at this point, it's like maybe just do it a big go event that, okay, we have launched marketplace. Publish the socialization should begin that, okay, this is maybe with some lunch and learns or certain documents on SharePoint. Some key initial users should be asked to start using the tool. Maybe a small team who needs marketplace right away should start using it. There should be a feedback loop to maybe get in more inputs from them to document more details over there. Create a playbook for, like, maybe how people should go around requesting things, how can they draw more value. Will be an evolving process. And another thing which will be needed is to set up office hours if possible, like, because there will be admins and people already notified on marketplace, and if there is certain questions, which I'm sure there will be on using the tool, you can always help people through those office hours. These are certain best practices on launching things, but you can add more details based on your use case, but that's a high level. Now let's jump to the next section of our presentation, which is the consumer experience of marketplace. So consumer experience of the marketplace will be, I mean, now these are the data consumer after the launch, right? So when they come into the marketplace, there are two ways to go around in the marketplace UI. One is, of course, browse, because when somebody logs in, they will see all the categories, and they will be quite intuitive that, okay, this is sales category, this is customer, this is product, this is accounts and finance. And when they go into the category, they will see all the data collections, they can see data assets, they can see the community who uses it, all those things. Or else, if they don't want to browse and they want to begin with searching, then search is also possible. The consumers can start searching for data collections. And as I mentioned at the start of the presentation, right, you can search for data collection along with the filters on the terms of use. So that gives you a better results on what is applicable for your requirement, right? So I'm searching for customer data, but I'm searching for anonymized customer data because I'm using it for an internal project, maybe do for some testing purpose, let's say. So these kind of searches are available. And once you search for it, of course, in both approaches, browse or search, you will get to the review page where you will see all the details, as I mentioned, like the community who is using it, and description, terms of use. Yeah, and with all of that, I think that should give you the information you need to go ahead and check out the data, which means put in the request for that access on the data. And once you do that, then your order has begun, and it will go to the for the approval to the data owner and the technical data owner for that data, and they will approve, fulfill the request accordingly. And you can always track that data request, based on the internal SLAs or something. But whenever you log in, you can see, okay, these are all my requests. It is at this stage. It's accepted, rejected, in fulfillment phase, and whatnot. So that's a general UI experience. And as I mentioned, the demo will do a better justice for this, because you'll see things in flow of events. But with that, yeah, let me jump to the maybe the last slide which I have here. So I want to call out the material which is already out there on Cloud Data Marketplace. So there are quick demos available on our Informatica website. There is an on-demand webinar, and this list will grow with time. But these are some very cool things we already have available. And product documentation, of course, it's a it's a general thing we have for all our products. So these links are already here, and this should be useful when you want to dive deeper. And with this, I believe we are at a good transition point where I can transition to my colleague Srinivas Gopal for a deep dive into the demo. So thanks, and over to you, Srinivas.
Thank you, Avnish. Here is the ISES homepage where you can see all the services listed. There is a common services section, data quality and governance cloud section. We'll look into the data marketplace ticklet that has been enabled here. Here is a homepage for data marketplace where you can see the recently accessed data collection, high-level categories that have been defined along with the description. There are 15 categories that have been defined, 25 data collections, 12 orders has been placed, 6 consumer accesses has been granted. The search panel can be used for keyword-based search or with the filter criteria like terms of use and status, published or unpublished. Tasks will be showing all the approved orders, fulfilled requests and withdrawn. The data collections that this user is owning that will be listed here. And the data that is approved for usage for this user can be seen here along with the order details. In my orders lists all the data collections that has been basically recently ordered. History shows all the audit trail. Setup information is basically setting up the delivery templates information and formats and methods that can be used for while placing the order, along with terms of use, data assets, usage context of why the orders are required. The new option provides basically the content creation options here via bulk upload or through the UI options. Now let's take a couple of scenarios here. One as a data marketplace end user, where the data analyst or steward or any consumer who is looking for the data and place or access requests if he or she doesn't have access. And the other role being a data marketplace data owner to look into the tasks of the queue that has been placed as an order and approve or reject. And the third one being a data marketplace admin doing the administrative activities of a setup of delivery templates or formats, methods, etc. So this is Marisa here, who is logged in as a data analyst, who is having data marketplace user privileges. Looking for customer data, she wants to do further analysis on that and place access requests for her data analytics project. So she browses through these recent data collections that have been accessed for customer data and sales data over here, where she already has some access to store sales data, because in the data I use, you can see that she already has access to the sales data along with the order request here. And basically she browses through all these categories that is available. And since she's looking for customer data, goes into the customer category here and browses through the data collections that are available. We can see there is an insights data, order insights, profile and address info, customer data, customer address data, complaint records, etc. And there is further data collections available with demographics information as well. You can see that who is the data owner and technical owner here, being Alisa being the data owner and technical owner being Srinivas. And these are the data assets available coming from a wide range of sources. There is 2 data warehouses and customer data lake, along with various data catalog tools. Here we can see there is cloud data governance and catalog is hosted for address data, and profile data is coming from Axon data governance tool. Sensitive data, customer data is coming from enterprise data catalog. So you can see the wide variety of sources that have been captured into cloud data marketplace. So going into the customer address data, she wants to analyze further at the data element level. And there's a link to the cloud data governance catalog to this particular asset of customer address data, which is a file. So she clicks on it further to know where exactly it's coming from. You can see that it's coming from Azure Data Lake Store, and you can see the fields that are associated with this file. And you can see some of them are classified as sensitive customer data, and there is some value frequencies available that she can further drill down. into knowing further how trustable is the data. You can go through some of the fields here. You can see the classification and the value frequency, the possible sample values, along with the total number of records, pattern, info data type. So she goes through all the fields that is relevant for her analytics project. You can go through the customer type here. You can see that possible values and see there are some blanks for this 3%. So other values seems to be valid. So similarly, she goes through the other fields to analyze it further. And she comes back to analyze other data asset that is related to this collection, which is customer profile data. This is coming from a data warehouse in as per the Axon data set here. So she further drills down further and going to Axon to see what are the data elements available here. And you can see it's customer data having the city, code, country, credit card information, email, all the sensitive information here. And to know the physical fields, she knows like clicks on this additional details. This is actually coming from Enterprise Data Catalog, which is integrated with Axon. You can see it's coming from an Oracle table, which is a data warehouse, data types, values, and patterns as well. You can further analyze on this with other fields. You can see this is a country column coming from this particular table information here, and it's classified as PII. So you can see it's a sensitive data and the pattern. So she analyzes further with other fields as well, and goes back to the collection where it has profile data and looks into the sensitive customer data. This is actually a file coming in from EDC. And to know the exact location, she clicks on this further into Enterprise Data Catalog, which lists down where exactly the file is coming from. So you can see that which bucket, and it's coming from an S3 source. And you can see the description of what this file contains and go through the fields information. So this has all the data elements, and you can go through further, analyze the data as well by clicking on the individual link, and sees the value frequencies, the number of records that exists in this one. So she further analyzes other data elements that she is looking for, and goes back to this data collection, which hosts all these data assets, and looks for the delivery targets that she is looking for to Azure Data Lake Store. The terms of use, it's classified as sensitive data terms of use, and we did see that in the actual data as well, it is classified as sensitive data and PII data. The terms of use is a policy that needs to be in compliance. And she proceeds with placing the order with the checkout option over here. So the usage context, since she is looking for analytics project, she selects analytics, provides the description for the need for requesting access. The delivery target is by default Azure Data Lake Store. This can be changed if she wants to. Let's keep it default, and can go through the usage guidelines and submit the order. You can see the order is placed now, and it's going to be with the data owner to review the requests and approve or reject option. So you can click on the view order to see the pending approval status for this order. So let's log in as Alyssa and see if the task is in her queue. Now, Alyssa has logged in, who is a data owner, and she wants to review all the requests that have been placed. That can be seen in the task view. You can see all the orders that are waiting in her queue, and who is the consumer who is placing the request. And here Marissa's who is a data analyst who has placed order for customer demographics data, can be seen over here. And the business justification along with the delivery target, which is Azure Data Lake Store, and with the description, and proceeds with an approval here, providing appropriate comment. Analytics use. And provides an approval. You can see the approval date and time and who is approving it. So right now it's in the fulfillment stage to provide the actual data delivery. You can see the demographics data coming up on the recent data collections page. Srinivas has logged into Data Marketplace, who is actually the technical owner for many of the customer data collections. And you can see the recently access data collections over here, and you can see majority of customer data being accessed. And to review the request, he goes to the tasks tab, and there is a fulfillment requests that have been placed with a list of orders and consumers being placed, along with the order details of order date and collection, business justification. Is to go through all the orders and review the requests. And here is a delivery target and business justification for that. And it looks for this is a data analytics project and is approved by Alyssa to take the further action. So now the data delivery is being fulfilled by this technical owner. So once the data is being delivered to the Azure Data Lake Store, so he updates the status here with the fulfillment to us and adding a comment here. Once it's fulfilled, you can see the overall chain of workflow that has been from Marisa to Alyssa as being the data owner and to being the order being fulfilled. So this completes the overall workflow of placing the access request and data being delivered to the Marisa, who is a data analyst. Now, Gabriel has logged into Cloud Data Marketplace, who has Data Marketplace Administrator role. And basically, she goes through the data collections, reviews terms of use that are attached to it, delivery templates, and setup information, and adds or updates the information that is required. Either the usage context, terms of use, data assets, all this information are being regularly reviewed. That is available in Cloud Data Marketplace in the setup page. Now let's take a scenario and upload new content where Gabriel wants to upload a new data collection through the bulk upload. There are multiple options to do the populating the content here. One is through the bulk upload. The other one is to create in the UI itself. The data collection or category can be created via UI. Let's use the bulk create option here for data collection. So she uploads a spreadsheet that is already filled in with the data collection information. You can see the data collection information over here, and she wants to review this data collection information and only upload the party data. So there is an option here in the UI in this panel where you can remove the content that not need to be uploaded. And also you can edit the information that needs to be updated over here. So she wants to change the technical owner to install and create only this party data collection over here. You can see this green status here, which is being created. You can click on the finish option. You can see the one data collection being submitted over here. This is how you can create content over here, either the data collection or other options that are available, data elements, and categories, etc., that can be created over here. And party data is being shown here as a recently accessed one as well in the homepage. Thank you.
Hello everyone. If you have any queries to ask our presenters, please post them in the Q&A window. We have Avanish and Srini here to answer your questions. Over to you, Srini.
Thank you, Vrinda. Kate, do you want to pick any questions or can go through the ones that listed here?
Oh, sorry. So would you like us to revisit some of the questions that came up in the chat box earlier?
Yeah, if there are any new questions.
I don't think any new ones have come in since 4:40. There was just one about the recording session being sent out along with the download slide deck. I assume that will be available?
Yes. They will be able to download the slide deck from the Success portal. Also, the recording will be available in Informatica Support YouTube channel and the Success portal.
Yeah, probably I can pick few questions here that's already there. There's a question from Balasundar. We have Axon, EDC, and BDQ. Does this cloud marketplace delivers as part of Axon license, or do we need to purchase the license for cloud marketplace? I think Kate already answered this, but I just picked it up, saying that this is a part of IACS platform. Cloud marketplace is going to be different license.
Absolutely. And there's been another question about the difference between Axon and Cloud Marketplace. So maybe we'll just talk about that for a couple of minutes because it's an important distinction. So obviously one of the key differences is the fact that the Cloud Data Marketplace is a SaaS solution. So it's cloud, totally cloud as part of our IDMC platform. That means, of course, that it will be bought with IPUs rather than be part of your existing license. As you were just saying, it's not part of the Axon license. It is a separate product that is completely on the cloud and can be purchased with IPUs. Now that's the kind of pricing and location of it. It also has some implications for the approach. For example, because Cloud Data Marketplace is going to be a standalone product on the cloud, we're building it so that you can actually use it in conjunction with any metadata tool. So if you still have Axon, you want to keep using Axon, or if you only have EDC, or if you're looking at CDGC, or even further afield with companies outside of Informatica, we're going to allow people to keep those metadata solutions going and actually integrate those with the Cloud Data Marketplace. So there'll be APIs for creating and updating metadata from any source. And you can really see it as just a kind of consumer end that you put on top of your existing data operations and just plug it in to what you've already got going on without needing to change the underlying plumbing, which can then help your consumers to get access to that data they need. Now, a couple of other differences kind of incurred by that are things like, because it's cloud and because it's going to be so readily accessible to so many people, we're designing it to really be very intuitive. Of course, Axon Data Marketplace and any product we design to be intuitive where we can, but with the Cloud Data Marketplace, we really expect the consumers to not be data specialists and there to be potentially a whole lot of them, so enablement not to be the easiest thing to organize. So we're putting a lot of embedded assistance into the tool. We've got tooltips all over the place. We've got interactive side panels which tell you how to use the tool and update with you as you move through the tool. So all of that kind of stuff that you would usually have to go to much drier documentation and then match back to the interface is right there at your fingertips. So those were a few key differences. I think another question has come in talking about while browsing data assets inside data collections, why do we have both Cloud DG and EDC for sensitive info? Now, I'm not sure about the sensitive info part of this question or how that's relevant exactly, because of course, any metadata tool could hold sensitive info if they were needed to. But the question about whether we have both of those Cloud DG, as in CDGC, and our EDC represented in data assets is just aligned to what I was just talking about. So the idea is that if you did have sometimes very large companies purchase even more than one tool for different bits of the company to use for their metadata management, now just because one area is using one and the other area is using another doesn't mean you wouldn't all want to have your data assets made accessible via the marketplace. So we really don't hold you back in any way. We're not only saying you can use any metadata supplier, we're saying you can use multiple metadata suppliers. And yes, sorry, someone's just corrected me on my frequent use of acronyms, which is a bad habit. CDGC is in fact Cloud Data Governance and Catalog. CDMP, for that matter, is Cloud Data Marketplace. And I'm sure I've been using both of them far too much without explanation.
Yeah, thank you, Kate. So for clarifying that, just so that everybody knows, there is a question from Christopher, what is CDGC? It's Cloud Data Governance and Catalog, and CDMP is Cloud Data Marketplace. Both are SaaS solutions. So just wanted to reiterate on that, as these are new solutions on IDMC platform.
In relation
Thank
to the
you,
question,
Kate and Srini.
Oh, sorry, there was just one more, just quickly, on healthcare. In relation to healthcare-related marketplace, we're actually in the process of building industry-specific content for our Cloud Data Marketplace. We started with a kind of generic use case of retail because it's readily understandable to our customers. We're working on financial services and healthcare content as we speak. So if you'd like to have a demo that was a bit more specific, then come back to us and we will be able to do that quite soon. There's a final question that says, do we have an end date for order? But I'm not sure I quite understand the question.
Yeah, probably, Kate, like it's once the order is placed, is there any end date for taking action on the orders that have been?
So we're in the process of considering, there were a few things that we handled with custom fields in Axon Data Marketplace, which we are deciding if the most popular ones should become set fields in Cloud Data Marketplace. And one of them is effective date, so that a customer or a requester can indicate when they need the data by. The thing is that there's a few different elements to that. You know, is it a hard stop? Are they just saying they want it by then? If they don't get it by then, is it no longer useful? Does the task disappear entirely at that point? And a few things that we are deciding on at the moment. So we haven't yet built that into the product, but it is something that is under discussion currently. And if you have any feedback or would like to talk to us about that more, we're always happy to talk to our customers.
And there's one more question, Kate, probably if you can add, that would be great. What is the difference between Axon Marketplace and Cloud Marketplace?
I think I've answered that a couple of times. Was there anything we wanted to add?
Oh, okay. Probably.
No, I think you did cover that. I think there was one question at the start, like, can we import data from EDC like Axon do? I believe it was covered in the distances, but yeah, you can create data sets from anywhere through the bulk uploads, but there is no direct integration as EDC and Axon used to have that. You could create data sets automated in an automated manner. But yeah, you can create data sets.
Yes, we do. And we have built the create and update APIs, and we'll be publishing those shortly. So when we publish those, you can integrate directly with your metadata tool, not just use a bulk upload.
Exactly. And that I think goes out to the question where somebody was asking about a Jira integration or some third-party orchestration tool. I believe over time with the APIs, we'll be able to do all those integrations outside of the tool.
Yeah, so again, we're not going to be building custom integration. We found that when we built custom integration into Axon Data Marketplace, for example, for ServiceNow, we allow people to turn that on and off, and then they could integrate with ServiceNow that way. Some people used it, but then when we actually made the APIs available, the vast majority of our customers bypassed the internal setup that we had and used the APIs to integrate directly. Learning a lesson from that customer feedback, we are going to make the APIs public for our customers to do that again.
Thank you, Kate. It looks like we have answered all the questions. Unfortunately, we are on top of the hour. So if we have failed to answer any of your questions, we'll get back to you right after the session. Thanks everyone for joining. Hope everyone is safe. And thank you, Srini and Avnish, for the great presentation, and Kate especially for the Q&A. Thanks for joining. Also, we have a post-webinar survey. Please let us know your thoughts right after the session. If you have any suggestions for future webinars, let us know through that. Thank you. See you on our next Tech Tuesdays. Bye.
Thank you.